Well, there. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the ever popular Inspirations for Your Life show. Thank you so much for choosing to join me again today. It's great to have you here. If this is your very first time joining me, I'd like to take the opportunity to say welcome, and I'd like to say the words thank you. If you've been here one time, 5 times, 10, 100, or maybe even more, I'd like to say welcome and thank you. But I'd also like to say the words welcome back. You guys always are welcome here on my show and all the content that I create. And I'm so grateful that you've decided to stop by and make this part of your daily routine. All right, guys. So if you didn't know, Saturday we start our master topic and we roll all the way through the week and we finish up on a Friday. That's right. So we are, almost halfway through the week with this master topic. If you're thirsty or hungry, feel free to go grab something and come on back. Hungry, thirsty, what have you, healthy or not, that's up to you. And don't forget to check out believemeachieve.com for, of course, more of my amazing, inspiring creations. That is after the show is over. Without any further ado, guys, let's kick this show off. So, ladies and gentlemen, stop waiting for your life to change. Stop waiting for your life to change. I think that's an important thing for us to understand. And it's Series 5, Show 33. Do the thing you've been avoiding. Series 5, Show 33, Episode number 5. That is today's granular topic. It's Wednesday. It is August 12th, 2026. Welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. Who am I? Great question. I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, keynote speaker, graduate student at Montclair State University, a passionate lifelong learner, and now so grateful to be a published author. There is probably something in your life right now that you know you need to handle. Maybe it's a conversation you don't want to have, a message you haven't opened, a phone call you've postponed, or a project that keeps getting moved to tomorrow. The interesting thing about avoidance is that it rarely makes something disappear. Usually it makes it heavier. Today, we're going to stop carrying that unnecessary weight and talk about 30 ways to finally face what you've been avoiding. Okay? Number 1, avoidance. It makes things heavier. The task may take 20 minutes, but avoiding it can occupy your mind's time 20 days. The longer something sits there, the larger it can feel and heavier. Number 2, name what you're avoiding. Name it. Be specific. Don't just say you're stressed. Ask yourself what you know you need to handle, but continue postponing. Name it. And it gives you something concrete to address. Face the uncomfortable conversation. Some conversations are difficult, but avoiding them often creates more tension. Prepare yourself, remain respectful, and say what genuinely needs to be said. Number 4, open the message you've ignored. Okay? Sometimes the unopened message becomes more frightening in your imagination than it actually is. Open it, read it, see the facts, and determine what needs to happen next. Number 5, make the call. You know the one. Stop rehearsing it repeatedly in your head. People do this so many times, right? Pick up the phone, hello, and allow the actual conversation to replace the imaginary one that's in your head. Number 6, begin difficult projects. I know a lot of you are saying, oh, John, you don't know my situation. Don't wait until you feel excited about it. Open the document, organize the materials, create the first section, or complete the first small task. Number 7, stop feeding dread. Every time you repeatedly imagine how terrible something will be, you're feeding the emotion attached to it. Focus on what you actually can control, okay? And what you'll do instead of worrying. Number 8, handle small problems early. A lot of people don't do this and they're like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? The problem isn't resolving itself. Well, no, it's not resolving itself. But are you focused on that problem like 24/7, or are you thinking about something else? I think that's an important thing for us to be aware of right now. A small issue handled today can prevent a major problem tomorrow. Address things while they're still manageable, whenever possible, that is. Number 9, don't let fear manage your schedule. If fear constantly determines what gets postponed, eventually your calendar begins reflecting your fears instead of your priorities. Number 10, give discomfort a deadline. I bet you never heard that one before. Tell yourself when you're going to handle it. That's a different thing, right? A deadline turns an uncomfortable intention into a specific commitment that your mind and body is going to get done. Okay, I think that's a very important thing, and I think that's really cool to realize that. Let's dive into number 11, shall we? Start with just 5 minutes. We all have 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes can break enormous resistance. Tell yourself you're only committing to 5 minutes and see what happens once you've actually started. Number 12, break intimidating tasks apart. Sometimes you're not avoiding the task. You're avoiding the size of the task. Break it into smaller pieces and focus only on the next task. So many people I know, they rush the task because they think if they rush it, they won't have to deal with it again. But really, you know what's going to happen? They're going to have to deal with it over and over and over again. And I think that's a very big problem that you're going to have to, keep struggling with that, because you're going to keep getting the lesson shown to you over and over again. So let's learn the lesson correctly the first time, or it's going to keep repeating. The universe will keep repeating it until you learn it. You probably heard that before. Number 13, stop imagining the worst. We do it, that's what's going to happen. So stop imagining it. Your mind can create an entire disaster before anything has even happened. Don't automatically treat the worst possible outcome as the most likely one. When we change our perspective, we become more positive. Okay? That's important. Deal with reality instead. Number 14. Reality gives you facts. Fear gives you predictions. Find out what's actually happening and make decisions, right? Based on what? On that information, not other information, not information you supposedly extrapolate into your brain, information that's not even real. I think that's a problem for a lot of people. They get hung up on a story and they make it worse than what it is, and they sabotage themselves. Number 15, finish the lingering task. You know those tasks that remain almost finished for weeks. Sometimes the greatest relief comes from finally closing the loop. Yeah, the loop. Number 16, clear your mental backlog. That's why it's good to take a rest. It's good to actually breathe. Really, really good to breathe. Okay? That's a very important thing for us to understand. Clear your mental backlog. Unfinished responsibilities consume mental space. Every item you complete gives some of that attention back to you, and you deserve that attention. We want to preserve your energy, because when we preserve your energy, you can use it for things that are going to help you become a better version of yourself. Number 17, I ask you to please confront what keeps returning. If you don't bother to learn the lesson, the universe is going to say, hey, wait a minute, you haven't learned the lesson. We're going to keep showing it to you over and over and over and over again, because you have not learned the lesson yet. If the same issue keeps coming back into your thoughts, there may be a reason for it. Stop repeatedly pushing it away and determine what needs to be addressed. Yeah. It's not meant to scare you. It's meant to teach you a lesson. Right? It's meant to teach you an important lesson. Number 18, please stop carrying unfinished business. What do I mean by this? Well, unfinished business can follow you everywhere. Handle what you reasonably can so yesterday's responsibilities don't continually invade today. Number 19, difficult doesn't mean dangerous. It means uncomfortable. Discomfort and danger aren't the same thing, guys. A difficult conversation, challenging task, or uncertain decision can feel uncomfortable without actually threatening you. Yeah. But people put themselves into these fake Pandora's boxes. And although they're fake and they don't exist, your mind believes them because your imagination creates your reality. What we think about, right, Nightingale Conant, we bring about. Our thoughts create our reality. That's not some superficial nonsense. That is truth backed by science for many, many years, right? But a lot of people think it's nonsense when it really isn't nonsense. I think that's a very important thing to understand. Okay? Very important thing for us to understand. So, what I can tell you is that your thoughts create your reality. Hands down. Number 20, make discomfort temporary. That's all it is. Discomfort is something you go through temporarily. It's not something that's going to stay with you forever, right? If you fall and you, let's say, cause your leg to get scraped or knee, it's a little discomforting. But what we've learned later on is that it does actually go somewhere. Pretty cool, right? How does that work? I think it works by us realizing what's happening and knowing that our thoughts create things. Everything in this world, okay, including this computer, lights, everything started with a single thought. A thought that caused an inspiration that caused me or someone else to take deliberate action to make that thought become a reality. Avoidance can turn temporary discomfort into a long-term burden. Facing something may be uncomfortable now, but completion allows you to move beyond it. Beyond it. Beyond it. That's cool. Right? Very, very cool. Number 21. Reward completion, not avoidance. Avoidance provides immediate relief, which teaches your brain to, guess what? Repeat it. Start recognizing the much greater satisfaction that comes from actually finishing something. Number 22, take the emotion out of starting. You don't need to feel inspired, fearless, excited, or perfectly prepared for anything. You don't need to have the answers for everything. Sometimes you simply begin because the task needs to be done. You learn along the way. Number 23, handle what you postponed. Many people postpone things, but they never seem to get them done. And that can frustrate a lot of people because they're not getting them done, because they're finding excuses as to why they shouldn't do something, right? I think that's an important thing, right? A very, very important thing for us to understand. It could be about how you're making a huge difference in your life, right? A huge difference that makes you change who and where you are. That's really cool. Number 23, as I said, handle what you postponed and look at what you've repeatedly moved to another day. Choose one item and decide that today is when the postponement ends for good. Can you do that? See, people postpone things and delay things because they get comfort out of knowing we don't have to do it now. But I've said to you that success does not lie in comfort. Success starts to breed in discomfort, not pain, discomfort. So you got to just become a little bit out of your shell. Push yourself a little bit. Number 24, discover what's easier than expected. How many times have you finally done something and thought, that wasn't nearly as bad as I expected? Give yourself the opportunity to discover that once again. And I think when we do it once, the next time we do it, like, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. And I'll tell you that you can make a difference in your life if you truly want to make that difference. Right? You can make the difference if you really want to make that difference. That's a key, guys. A very, very big, big key. Number 25, stop giving avoided tasks power. Let me say that again. Stop giving avoided tasks power. One more time, in case you didn't catch it. Stop giving avoided tasks power. Let's talk about that, okay? So every time something dictates your mood or occupies your thoughts because you refuse to address it now, you're giving it power. Action helps you take that power back. And although it might seem like a very subtle step, you can indeed do this in your life. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be easy. It's going to be uncomfortable, okay? It's going to be uncomfortable. I think if we understand that, then now we're like, oh, wait a minute. Now I understand like how this happens or why this happened, right? I think that's an important piece for a lot of people. Why this happened? Why do I believe this a certain way, right? How? How do I change my perspective right now? How do I do it? How do I make a difference in people's lives? You become intentional. You become intentional. Number 26, clear one thing off your calendar, your to-do list today. You don't need to solve every unfinished problem tonight. You don't need to do that. Just pick one thing. You could do that, right? Pick one thing. One message, one call, one conversation you're going to have, one task. Finish it, clear it, check it off your calendar, have it done. That's what gives us power back. That's important, guys. Very important. But you have the power to do that. You have the power to do that more than you actually think. Number 27, relief lives on the other side. There's a particular kind of relief that arrives when something you've been carrying is finally handled. That relief feeling. But you have to move through discomfort, not over it, not around it, through it to reach the other side. Right? Number 28, face it before it grows. If we let something constantly be on our plate and we don't handle it, it gets worse. It gets worse every single time we revisit it. Problems rarely become easier simply because they're ignored. You ignore something, it's not going to go away. When something requires your attention, address it before time adds unnecessary complexity. I say that to you because a lot of people don't understand the fact that they make their lives harder because they don't understand what's going on. Number 29, freedom often begins with confrontation. Confrontation doesn't have to mean conflict. Sometimes it simply means turning towards something you've been running from and deciding you're ready to deal with it now. Number 30, do the thing you've been avoiding. You probably knew what that thing was before the episode even began. Stop giving yourself another reason to move it into tomorrow. Take the first responsible step today. All right? Take the first responsible step today. As I get ready to close this show, know that, ladies and gentlemen, avoidance is interesting because it promises relief. Okay? Don't deal with it right now. Do it tomorrow. Wait until you feel ready. And for a moment, postponing something can feel easier, but it's an illusion. Because then tomorrow arrives and the one thing is still there. Oh, now you spent another day thinking about it, worrying about it, or feeling guilty because you still haven't handled it yet. Really? Seriously? That's why action can be so freeing. You don't need to solve your entire life today. You don't need to clear every unfinished responsibility before you go to sleep or check every box off, but you can clear one thing, one box, one option. Open the message, make the call, begin the project, have the conversation, finish the task, take 5 minutes and start. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist. I thank you for choosing to join me for another amazing episode of Inspirations for Your Life. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, the thing you're avoiding may be taking more energy to avoid than it would take to actually handle it and resolve it. Stop feeding the dread. Stop carrying the unfinished business with you. Face it before it grows. When we have a meeting that happens like Robert's Rules, they always say, let's take care of old business first. No new old business. Let's move on to new business. Because you see, sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, The relief you've been looking for is waiting on the other side of just one decision. That's all it is. Do the thing you've been avoiding. If you do the thing you've been avoiding, you'll feel lighter. You'll feel free. And the one thing you're going to realize is the next time you have something and you're thinking about avoiding, oh, I don't need to avoid it. If I face it head on, you're going to say, wait a minute, that wasn't so bad. But in my mind, it was worse. Right? You made it worse than what it actually is. People do this their whole lives. And then they wonder why they're not going the right place. They wonder. They wonder that. But it comes down to this whole concept. Okay? You know what that concept is? Do the thing you've been avoiding. Is it exercising? Is it eating healthier? Is it forgiving somebody? Okay. Is it remembering somebody to call them or spend time with them? What is it you're trying to avoid? Is it the fact that you're worried that maybe you're not right and your ego is tripping you because you can't get through it? Get over it. Okay? Get over it. Do the thing you've been avoiding. Stop waiting for life to change, which is our master topic, and take action. Decisive, intentional action. When you keep making steps every day and taking one deliberate, intentional action a day, you know what happens? Your life starts to change. Now, not overnight, but it does actually change when you realize where you were a while ago, and now you're like, wait a minute, I'm way over here. How'd that happen? Simple. You took one step every day, and you were consistent. For success, we need structure, and we need consistency. That is a key in our lives. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Be sure to check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations at BelieveMeAchieve.com. Be well, everyone, and do the thing you've been avoiding now.